1, 2, 3, 4.
Good morning, everyone. This is Jewish Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, streaming live on the college station, on TuneIn.com, and on the iHeartRadio app. And all week long, you can find this program reposted on Spreaker.com. Don't forget, right now, this program is on Facebook Live. And we want to say hello to Harvey Kipnis and to Jonathan Wolf and all of our wonderful listeners who are joining us. In case you didn't know, this is Rabbi Pearl. And today, our discussion takes us to a deeper meaning of the events of today. And we're going to address the following. Hello, John. We would like to say hello to everybody joining us, and it's just simply on the Facebook.com with my name, and here we are. Today we're going to address the 7 principles for maintaining Jewish dialogue, the broken tablets, and how an Israeli Supreme Court justice compassionate remarks to a sexual assault victim helped a broken heart. First, for today, ladies and gentlemen, is a Jewish fast day. It's known as the fast of the 17th day of the Hebrew month of Tammuz, Shiva Asar B'Tammuz. It's actually the 18th day. The 17th was yesterday, Shabbos, and we don't fast, and therefore it was pushed off to today. So today is the Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, this special day, this fast day. It's the start of the 3-week mourning period for the destruction of Jerusalem and the 2 temples. The fast itself actually commemorates a number of events that happened on this very day. This is the day when Moses broke the tablets, when he saw the Jewish people worshipping the golden calf. During the Babylonian siege of Jerusalem, the Jews were forced to cease offering the daily sacrifice due to the lack of sheep. Again, all happening today. Good morning to Jeff Rosner. Today is the day when the walls of Jerusalem were breached by the Romans in the year 69 CE after a lengthy siege. And 3 weeks later, after the Jews put up a valiant struggle, the Romans destroyed the Second Holy Temple on the 9th of Av. The Jerusalem Talmud maintains that this is also the date when the Babylonians breached the walls of Jerusalem on their way to destroying the first temple. So it's a pretty sad day, a pretty informative day, and a day of reflection. On a practical level, all healthy adults, bar or bar mitzvah age and older, abstain from eating and drinking between this morning, which is about 3:30 a.m., until nightfall, till about 9:03 this evening. Those who are pregnant and nursing women don't fast. Someone, of course, who is ill should consult their rabbi. And, of course, even those who are exempt from fasting, such as ill people or children, shouldn't indulge in delicacies or sweets, which does include bagels and lox on a day like this. So, although abstaining from food and drink is the external element of this fast day, on a deeper level, a fast day is really an auspicious day, a day when God is accessible and waiting for us to return. The sages explain that every generation for which the temple is not rebuilt, it is as though the temple was destroyed for that generation. So a fast day is not only a sad day, but an opportune day. It's a day when we have the strength to fix the cause for this destruction, so that this long exile will be ended, and we will find ourselves living in Messianic times, of course, with the coming of Mashiach. May it come very, very soon. So let's begin with our 7 principles for maintaining Jewish dialogue. These thoughts I share with you come from the former chief rabbi of the United Kingdom, Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks. So, as we indicated, today begins the period of mourning in the Jewish calendar called the 3 weeks, leading up to the saddest day in the year, the 9th of Av. So twice Israel suffered defeat and exile. The first, the conquest of the northern kingdom, followed by a century and a half later by the destruction of the first temple and the Babylonian exile, which was a direct consequence of the division of the kingdom into 2 after the death of Solomon. The second, The second exile, was defeat at the hands of the Romans and the destruction of the Second Temple. This, we are told, was the result of intense factionalism and internal strife, in Hebrew called sinas chinam, which is hatred for no reason at all. Today, across the Jewish world, there remains much internal conflict. When individual Jews or groups of Jews have disagreements, as inevitably happens, we have to find ways to overcome them respectfully to ensure that we continue to thrive as a people. To that end, I share with you what Chief Rabbi's idea. There are 7 key principles for maintaining Jewish dialogue. And I think it also applies to many aspects of the dialogue that we are facing in the time that we are today with all that's going on. So here, I hope that all of them, or some of them, will speak to each and every one of us. First principle, when we're having a conversation with anybody, keep talking, even when you disagree. The more you talk, the more you're likely to eventually find a way to work together. A second principle, listen deeply to one another. Hear what your opponent is saying. Listening is profoundly therapeutic. It is also deeply spiritual. The good news is that we like to speak, right? The bad news is that we have a hard time listening. This has to change, right? What is one of our famous prayers? Shema Yisrael. Listen, Israel. So listening is a very important part of life. A third principle in keeping people together and less friction, always be humble and modest by striving to understand the point of view with which you disagree. This was, of course, the way of Hillel. It remains the first rule of conflict management. I would like to say good morning to Devorah Hazelwood and to Joanne. Principle number 4. When you're having a dialogue with someone else, never seek victory. Never ever seek to inflict defeat on your opponents. If you seek to inflict defeat on your opponent, which is really human psychology, will seek to retaliate by inflicting defeat on you. So what's the end result? That even if you win today, you will lose tomorrow. And in the end, everyone will lose. Don't think in terms of victory and defeat. Think in terms of what is best for all of us. A fifth principle. If you show contempt for others, they will show contempt for you. If you show respect for others, they will show respect for you. If you seek respect, give respect. Principle number 6. Remember that the ultimate basis is we are all responsible for each other. We may not agree on anything, but we remain a single extended family. If you disagree with a friend, tomorrow he or she may no longer be your friend. But if you disagree with a family member, tomorrow he or she is still part of your family. Being a family is what keeps us together. We don't need to agree with each other, but we need to care about each other. I hope you're taking notes. Jonathan Wolf just put up a nice comment. We were given one mouth and 2 ears. That's good. Got to listen more than you got to talk. I like that. Jonathan, thank you so much. Principle number 7. We were chosen. We were chosen for what? Not only to be righteous or to, in a sense, only chose the righteous. We're all being chosen. And we all stand in front of God. As a people, all of us stand in front of God. The world doesn't make distinctions. You know, we are united by a shared memory, a shared identity, a shared fate. And if we have different perspectives. So the sages said that the Torah was given to make peace in the world. How can we be at peace with the world and make peace in the world if we're unable to live at peace with ourselves? So let's bear in mind that next time you're tempted to walk away from a group that you think that has offended you, we are each called on to make some effort, some gesture to listen to one another, to forgive one another, to stay together as an extended, almost varied family. That is the ultimate insight and tikkun, you could say, in fixing the grief that goes behind these 3 weeks. These 3 weeks in the Jewish calendar that has haunted our history and keeps on reverberating. And now I'd like to continue on. You see, on this day, on the 17th day of Tammuz, as we are discussing, that commences the 3 weeks, 3 mourning period, the 3 weeks of mourning, concluding with the fast of Tisha B'Av, that one of the tragedies of today was the breaking of the tablets at Mount Sinai. Remember, Moses comes down, he sees the golden calf, and he smashes the tablets. He decides, he takes those 2 tablets, he's holding them in his hands, he thrusts them to the ground, shatters them. Look what happened. This divine gift of tablets, etched by God, is now lay strewn all over the place. A special welcome to Steve Levine. Thank you so much. And to everybody listening. So what happened to those? Ever thought about it? What happened? Hello to Tom Schwartz. Whatever happened to those tablets that Moses smashed? The Talmud answers that the broken tablets were placed in the Holy Ark along with the second set. Luchais v'shvirei luchais menachim ba'aron. They were both put together. The broken tablets were not buried, which is what we generally do with holy items that are no longer in use. They were placed in the most sacred place in the Holy Ark. Eventually they sat together next to the second tablets, the whole set of 10 tablets, the second set, they were whole, and together they remained securely protected as the nation journeyed through the wilderness. So our question today is, good morning to Avion Levy, and to hello everybody watching us and listening to us. Why do the broken pieces remain precious? If they represent the Jewish people disregarding the covenant with God, the golden calf in particular, would we not want to simply forget about them? The idea of brokenness appears in a number of significant places in Judaism. Let's go through it. When we sound the shofar, we sound it with broken notes, shvarim. The Hebrew root for the word shever means broken. Another idea, we begin the Seder by breaking a whole piece of matzah. Again, we break. When the bride and groom stand under the chuppah, under the wedding canopy, a glass is shattered into pieces. These important symbols and rituals represent shattered and broken events in both our personal and communal lives. For example, breaking the matzah represents the broken life of the slave. The repentant spirit of a remorseful person is symbolized by the broken sounds of the shofar. And the breaking glass under the chuppah represents the world that is incomplete without the presence of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. So, what's going on over here? Brokenness and wholeness really coexist side by side in the chambers of our hearts. The 2 sets of tablets offer a striking metaphor, and that is that brokenness and wholeness coexist side by side, even in Judaism's holiest spot, in the heart of the Holy Ark. The 16th century Kabbalist Reishis Chochmah teaches that the Ark is a symbol of the human heart. People experience brokenness in many ways. One way that many of us experience despair and crushing pain is through the death of a loved one, especially when life is cut short. Those of us who've passed through the valley of death, so to speak, those of us who have lost loved ones, know that we forever carry broken tablets. Loss forever remains a part of us. We carry, the aching loss, and for some of us, we carry pain in our hearts and minds forever. The image of the broken tablets, unfortunately, offers an accurate representation of our life and of our lives in the world around us. We often carry our broken tablets with us at all times. After a painful loss, life continues, but now differently than before. We move through life now with 2 sets of tablets. There are times of joy, There are very happy times. They are encased in the same box, in the same heart. The commentator Rashi says that the